Welcome to Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure. Keeping you informed on faith and family entertainment.
Hello, everyone. So glad you've tuned in to this week's episode of Faith on Film. Holly, how are you doing?
Doing great, Isaac. Thank you. And really excited about the show today because we're going to talk about a faith-based movie and then also Hollywood movies. So we're going to combine both this show.
We've got a pretty jam-packed show today, don't we?
We do. And we're going to be interviewing producers and tell about the interesting star that's in their movie.
Well, the movie, of course, we're talking about, as you can see back behind me, is Camp Hideout, a new family movie. And it's great that we've got movies coming out that the entire family can watch.
Yes.
But interestingly, as I was watching it, I saw somebody that I recognized, and that was Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future.
I mean, who doesn't know his face? I mean, He was in so many movies and shows, but especially the Back to the Future series. Yeah. He starred in that, and he's got the love of a lot of people that are younger and then into the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s because we all grew up with him. So I'm excited to hear that interview.
Well, the interview is going to be with the founder of Higher Called Studios, which is a new studio creating good faith and family films, and the director of the movie Camp Hideout. So yeah, it'll be a fun to find out what happened as they were shooting the movie and where they're at in terms of releasing it.
And interesting to find out how this movie was made because it was funded by fellow Christian moviegoers and faith people. So we'll hear all about it.
Yes, but before we go to them, let's go to the trailer. And then after the trailer, we're going to hear from Sean Olson, the director, and Jason Brown, the founder of Called Higher Studios. All right?
You ready for the best week of your life?
How was everybody's first full day of camp?
This whole thing isn't really my scene.
I'm Becky with a B.
I'm Noah with a no.
Oh, okay.
You are in with the aardvarks. They used to have a bit of a bladder control problem. Anyway.
A child prodigy was described by his computer teacher as potentially problematic.
I'm Mallory, since you asked.
Somebody's got a crush.
I do not have a crush. He's had a lot to overcome in his life.
Stop that kid! That little punk!
You know what the judge said after your last arrest.
Last chance, blah, 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 whatever.
That juvenile delinquent has been nothing but trouble since he got here. The dust up at the climbing wall. Knock it off. Sneaking in contraband.
You stole a magical video game from a bunch of gangsters?
We're going to that camp, and we're gonna get what's ours. When I get my hands on that kid.
You don't think some people are beyond help?
What are you guys doing here?
We're all here for you.
When we hear.
Does everyone remember what to do?
If you trust and rely on your friends, you might just find it'll change your whole life.
Hey, turkeys! I'm up here.
We all followed our own path to arrive here in this moment.
Think about all of the lives that have turned around here.
You've been given a great opportunity by people who care about you.
I got him, Charlie!
Jason, Sean, welcome to Faith on Film.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, hey, Isaac, appreciate you guys having us on here.
You bet. You know what, Jason, I'm Jason, I'm going to start off with you. I know the concept for Called Higher Studios is different than pretty much most every other studio. Can you explain to us a little bit about what makes you different? I guess you're the first of its kind. And also, how does Camp Hideout fit into that mission?
Yeah, absolutely. Called Higher Studios was the world's first Christian-owned fan studio. We started back in 2019, even before The Chosen or any of the other studios came out. We're owned by over 5,000, Christian brothers and sisters all across the United States and really the world. We have some international investors who put in $100 or $500, so they actually own the studio. And so, the idea was just to get a bunch of Christians together. Let's go make movies that we love, that have good ethical values, biblical values, and let's make them together so that the crowd was financially and emotionally invested and they could come along this journey with us. We always say, we're not building a production company, we build a production community. And so Camp Hideout was the first fruit of that labor. And so Camp Hideout, we believe, really fits that mission because it talks about a lot of biblical values and friendship, belonging, unconditional love. There are great moments through the movie that you're going to recognize faith, and you're going to recognize faith elements. And so Camp Hideout, and it's fun. It's just good fun for the entire family.
Yeah.
Sean, I was wanting to know, it felt a little bit like a lighthearted kind of a Home Alone kind of plot type of thing. It's fun. But what age do you feel that this Camp Hideout is best for? Is this a kids movie? Is this an older kids to teen? Is it a tween? Which one? What age demographic, or all ages? What do you feel?
I think what we designed, and Jason came up with such an amazing concept. It was so fun to get to do this movie. But I think it's one of those things that it really is accessible to anyone. Like, it works for kids, but it also works for parents. There's a nice variety of different moments throughout the movie that, parents will recognize, especially with like people like Christopher Lloyd, there's like throwback element, but then, young kids, they'll notice like the whimsical fun, the sight gags and that. And like Jason said, it's good, clean family entertainment. It's a movie that you can play, like, you can watch with your kids, or you could be in the other room and allow them to watch it and not have to worry about, how the content is or anything, anything being bad or anything like that. We really, really strove to make this a nice, clean family film for everybody.
Right. Now, when I watched the movie, and you mentioned Christopher Lloyd right now, when I watched the movie, he's the one, of course, that I recognized at my age group. He's the one that I recognized. How was it working with him? I mean, he seems like such a cool dude.
Well, he was amazing. He came to play. One of the things that Phil Glasser, our other producer, he had mentioned to me was that Christopher loves to be directed, and he loves to get feedback. And he really, really, he had ideas for the character, but he also came in and, we kind of molded certain moments together. So it was so fun. And it was, what's interesting too is like, I remember all of the other actors being super excited to meet him. Like people, Amanda Layton, like they were just thrilled. And then Jason, why don't you tell him about like what was in his contract? Because there was he didn't have a whole lot in there. It was very simple, which I thought was really, really funny. Like his little needs.
I can't remember. I think it was something like Diet Mountain Dew or something. It was, that was it. He just, I can't really remember, but he was super simple. The thing that I remember about Christopher is this: he came to the set every day with an energy and a caringness for all the actors. And so we as producers got to watch this mentoring group of actors like Christopher Lloyd, Corbin Blue from High School Musical, Amanda Layton, and they poured into these kids. So, what was great for me is not only did we get to make a faith and family film that talked about camaraderie and belonging, we got to actually watch it happen on set, which was really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Were there any faith stories that you guys have that could tell, or things that happened on set that, maybe some people who weren't Christian to begin with became that way after being part of your crew?
I think that obviously there was a lot of prayer on set. We filmed this in the middle of COVID. And so we did have, we always joke, and Phil likes to say that making a movie is a Rubik's Cube, and the more messed up, the better. We had a lot of moments, and Sean will tell you, we got a call at 11 p.m. one night that one of our main actors got COVID and wasn't going to be able to work on the movie. So we had to recast someone, and we were working until 3, 4 in the morning to do that. We, Christopher, had a schedule flip, and so we had to flip the entire schedule for a week. But, going back to what you were talking about faith, there was a lot of people on this set that were believers. And we just really wanted to live our lives in a way that didn't preach the gospel, but it just showed the gospel, right? And I think that came out through the film. I always say that the other kids at the camp, at the church camp, and their relationship to Noah, they didn't, vomit the gospel on him. They just showed him unconditional love, right? They showed him the characteristics of Jesus. And so, I think we did a good job. I actually think that Phil, There's a couple moments where he got to share the gospel with a couple of the actors that weren't believers, and so it was a good experience.
I'm just curious. Let me ask you this: you have investors investing in a movie. Do they have a say who you choose to act in it, the script? Do they have a say in all that, or is that, because that would be maddening to me to have thousands of investors and people having control of your film.
You are correct. They definitely have opinions. But no, so we made it very, very clear. Hey, we're going to try to do our very best, right? And we're going to try to bring in people. As Sean's mentioned, like Philip Glasser. Phil is a Hollywood movie producer that has produced over 50 movies. His last movie was The War with Grandpa with Robert De Niro and Uma Thurman. So he's made some very big movies. He's also a believer and is really bringing his talents to help focus on making more faith and family movies with Called Our Studios. But I say those are the people that we're bringing in to help make these choices and kind of make this, make this in our casting. Now, I will say our investors have the opportunity. We do ask their opinions a lot. We use them as a feedback group, and we bring them along the journey. Other projects we've asked, hey, here's 5 or 6 actors. Can you vote on them? Right. And so they'll vote on actors and storylines and things of that nature. So they're very, very, very involved. But at the end of the day, you're right. We don't put 6,000 names in a hat and draw. We try to do the best we can.
Because everybody wants to be a producer and a director, and everybody wants to have a hand in that. So these days,
they get their hand in it. They're a part of it. If you watch the end credits, I think there's over 1,000 or 2,000 crowdfund producers at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad Holly asked that question, and I'm glad you just mentioned that, because it just shot another question in my head that kind of takes us back to the beginning of the interview, and that is, you mentioned The Chosen, which is also crowdfunded. Now, the folks at Angel Studios, they crowdfund the project. So everybody invests in a specific project. But you, I think, on this mentioned that the people are investors in the studio. Can you maybe explain that a little bit to us? I mean, are they investors in everything that the studio will do, or just in a specific project?
And are people still doing it now, or is it kind of closed? I mean, how does that work?
No, right now, we wanted to set up so that they own the studio. So that means they got a piece of every single project that we did. And so they actually own the entire studio. And they can invest. We actually have an offering that is open right now. We opened it, a few days ago. And so while that offering is open, people can still get in and, go and invest in the company and join thousands of other investors and, own a movie studio and be a producer. And at the end of the day, go make really good movies that spread the gospel.
Yeah.
Do you have other movies lined up now, and are you getting ready to produce more, or are you waiting to see how this one does? Since this is
we're really, really, really excited about the next one. So we optioned the life rights of Ann Byler. Ann founded a little company that probably maybe put on 10 or 15 pounds called Auntie Anne's Pretzels. And so Ann founded that company and grew it to thousands of locations all around the world. But yeah, exactly. I can't go through an airport with my kids or a mall with my kids and not buy a bucket. So her story is one of marriage and faith and, staying close to Jesus and entrepreneurship. So we're really, really, really excited about that movie. And we're really going to lean into the marriage aspect, how her marriage went through a lot of rocky times, but, they made through it. And, the man upstairs was a big reason that they were able to do that. And now they're such an example. And they have a marriage counseling service where they've counseled thousands and thousands of marriages. And so she'll always tell you that, they pray that God would provide them something to let them go do their mission. And the pretzel was the thing that God provided them to let them go do what they really are passionate about, which is, saving marriages.
Wow.
Oh, I love that. You guys, invite us to a set visit, or at least let us know when you're doing this next time, so we can keep our audience informed and keep them posted on what you're doing. That's it.
Absolutely. We'll bring a lot of pretzels for everybody.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay. What was, when you guys were, do you have any great camp stories to tell when you were kids? I went to one camp when I was 12, loved it, never forgot the experience. Did you use any of your own experiences in this movie?
Absolutely. I grew up as a Boy Scout, and so I would spend all my summers going to Boy Scout camp from like junior high to high school. And it's something that I even carry to this day. like 2 weeks ago, I took my youngest son to Boy Scout camp on Catalina Island. So it brought a lot of those aspects into the movie. And my wife, who, wrote the last draft of the script, she was a camp counselor. And so she added some of those elements as well. And, going to camp is like the most fun. It's just one of those things that you'll just remember for the rest of your life,
Yeah. Now,
I'll echo that and say I was saved at camp at 12 years old. I always joke and say, God saved me early because I think he knew, hey, you're going to go do some stupid stuff in high school and college, so I'm going to get you early just in case you make some mistakes. But summer camp was really a place that I got introduced to Jesus, and a lot of great counselors poured into me, just like in this movie. And so, I will say that a lot of the values that I have today were put into me by coaches and counselors that I had over summer.
Right.
Oh, well, so why should people go see this movie? Give us a last, why should they go see Camp Hideout?
It's Camp Hideout is a good, clean, fun family film that really everybody can enjoy. It's got, light moments. It's got whimsical action. I mean, we have stunts that were made by, like, our stunt coordinator is at the top of her game. Like, she's insane and insanely awesome. And I mean, we have, the kids are great. You got Christopher Lloyd, you got Corbin Blue. It's really, really fun.
Now, where can people learn more about it?
Yeah, so if they go to camphideoutmovie.com, they can check it out and watch the trailer and be notified when tickets go on sale or buy tickets. They can also just Google Camp Hideout and it should come up. But I also echo what Sean said, why people should go see this movie. Mm-hmm. One is it's just good, clean, fun. Yeah. It's good, clean content. And if you support that, and there's no shortage of content out there that is trying to teach our kids unbiblical values. Yeah. Right, and shove an agenda down their throat. So if you support good, clean content with ethical values, then you should just go for that reason. On top of that, it's going to be fun for the entire family. It's going to be Home Alone meets Ernest Goes to Camp. Yep. And you're supporting brothers and sisters. You're supporting 5,000 or 6,000 Christians all across the nation that made this. Amen. So.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And I just real quickly will say, at a time when, people are taking their 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds to see Barbie and seeing trans and gay and all different characters in it, nothing against if that's what you want, but I'm just glad that you said this is something good, clean, that parents don't have to be concerned about if they take their kids.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, thank you. Thank you guys for taking time to come and share this information on Camp Hideout. Folks, don't forget, get out there and find out where it's playing and get out there and watch the movie.
And support it. Thank you guys. And I want to keep us posted on your next, because I definitely want to hear all about that one too.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to your listeners and viewers.
Thank you guys.
Folks, we'll be back with more Faith on Film.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Brown.
And I'm Sean Olson, and you're watching Faith on Film.
Good interview. I like those two guys.
Yeah, they're great guys, aren't they?
And I love Isaac, the fact that Called Higher Studios, they got people to support them. They went in with an idea and they're already going on to the next. And people are then seeing return money from it, as they are with Angel Studios. I just saw an article come out with Angel Studios that said people are getting 120% back from the initial investors that invested in The Chosen. So they're getting money back. Sound of Freedom, not The Chosen. And so Sound of Freedom is bringing the return to the people that put money into it. So we're seeing different studios do this. It's a great idea. And it's encouraging other people who aren't necessarily filmmakers to be involved. So I love that.
Yeah,
I love
it's great. It's great that it's opening up the opportunities for movies to be made. That are not what Hollywood is making now. That just is it's really rather offensive to. It should be offensive to everybody. I'll say to Christians, but it really should be offensive to everybody.
To most of us. Well, a movie that's not offensive and that you and I both loved, called The Hill, has opened. Now, we did an interview before this, so people can look it up on our Faith on Film TV. We interviewed Colin Ford. Colin Ford was the guy that starred as Ricky Hill. And so to find out about the movie, to see the trailer, to hear the interview, please pull that up and watch it. But it's a really good movie. It's the true story of a PK kid, Ricky Hill. His father was like that fundamentalist, hardline Christian, you got to follow my footsteps. And boy, Ricky wanted to play ball, but he had a problem. He had a little disability with his legs. It was a spinal problem that he had, a nerve system. And so he couldn't walk, but he overcame that. He played minor league, and then he got a chance to play major league. It's not spoiling the story. It's a true story. So I'm not saying anything that you couldn't know if you looked it up, but it is an overcoming story. And Dennis Quaid plays the father.
Yes.
And of course, if any of you have been seeing interviews, Dennis Quaid has gone back to his Christian faith and roots. He recorded a gospel album, and he's been talking about his faith a lot, openly discussing it now, how it really saved him. So knowing that he's a Christian and he plays a Christian is even better. And I love that. So check out The Hill. It's in theaters. So go to the theaters and check it out. Or if you're seeing this after it's already left, then go look on our Faith on Film and find out about it.
And I totally related to that film because, again, growing up in that very fundamentalist, faith, my father-in-law was a lot like that. He did not understand why we would go play baseball on Sundays.
He didn't understand that. And the thing is that being a pastor, like Ricky's mom said, he's a miracle. I mean, don't you believe in miracles? And if you do, then let him do what he wants to do, because the father really fights him for not wanting him to play ball. I mean, the fact that he punishes him when he goes to play. So
great.
It's one of those movies you can watch where a lot will relate to, but it's a good ending and a happy ending, and it's an overcoming story. And we like overcoming stories.
Yes.
Next up is a movie that's out, and it's, again, another part of the Marvel Universe expanded. It's called Blue Beetle, and it's PG-13 for a good reason. This is not a kiddie film. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. It's a Marvel Universe film about the first Latino superhero, Isaac.
Okay.
And the real guy's name, I had to look up how to pronounce it because the spelling is so hard for me, not being Spanish. Zolo Maharidueno. And that's how you pronounce it. Zolo is his first name, Maharidueno. I'm not probably saying it right, but that's the best I can do. And he plays the real guy, Jamie Reyes. And it's about Jamie who, is out of college and he wants to help his family get out of the, lower income life that they have. And so he goes to get a really good job. And in the process of a mix up with something that happens, I won't spoil it for you, this ancient artifact jumps out of a box, lands on his face, goes into his body, and there's a couple of language from George Lopez plays the uncle, and he's like, "Would it go up your?" And he says the rear end part. So, there's some language like that, and it transforms him into this superhero, but it's permanently in him. So the way that it looks on his back, and the way that he goes through the painful, transformation. Is something little kids may not want to see. I'm just telling you, parents, older kids and teens get it, but maybe too intense for little ones, which is why the PG-13 rating. There is a GD word in there, unfortunately used by one of the girls. There's frequent mild language, what you consider nowadays, you probably hear every day, cussing, but there's a lot of language in it. I'm just going to say. That goes through several situations. There's a beloved family member who dies. There's another couple of characters who do, but it's not bloody. The Blue Beetle's whole effort is to fight but not kill anyone. So he'll always say, don't kill him, don't kill him. He's always trying to protect people and lives. I like the movie. There's a lot that I think, Isaac, that people that are Hispanic with that background will appreciate, because there's a lot of language that's spoken and they in Spanish, and of course there's
cultural
titles so people know what they're saying, but a lot of Spanish that's spoken, and it's a lot about family. Very much about family is holding together. What gives you your superpower? Oh, they're your weakness. No, they're my strength. Family is everything. Know who you are, and that knowing who you are, sometimes it finds and discovers you if you don't discover it, the purpose in life. So it's a lot about purpose, about family, how family lasts forever. I liked it, and I actually enjoyed the movie and thought it was good. And of course, it leaves room for, a follow-up, if they want to. But I don't know if it's doing that well at the box office. It'll be interesting. It's not making the same breakout as usual Marvel movies do, but then neither did Flash, if everyone will remember. When that opened up this summer, according to the studios, it failed. So I don't know if people are like, we're kind of tired of it or they're over it.
But they're watching Sound of Freedom, maybe.
And they probably are, actually. It's still doing well at the box office. But this is the second movie that I've seen the Latinos culture come to life. And the other one that we watched with, but we both loved, was A Million Miles Away. It is not open yet. It's going to be opening soon. But A Million Miles Away also is about the immigrant who came over to America with his family illegally, but they came in to work the fields. And then, of course, he has a dream to be an astronaut, and it's his journey to become that, which if you're an illegal immigrant, that's a hard journey, but it's a true story. And we love that movie as well. So 2 movies with Latino superheroes or heroes.
Hey, yes. Hey, so you want to take a look? You want to take a look at the trailer for
Let's
Blue Beetle?
do it.
Excuse me, Mr. Reyes.
You finished scraping the gum off that lounger or what?
Everything right now feels so out of reach.
You always land on your feet, bro. You're Jaime.
They don't get out much.
I just want to rap.
Jenny?
Guard the habits in your life, but do not open it.
You went in to get us jobs, and all you brought back was a hamburger.
Okay, I don't think it's a burger.
You haven't looked?
What the hell is that?
How did you get it to do that?
I think he likes me.
Get it out! Get it out!
Jaime.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. What the?
Host acquired.
Who said that? Okay, it's gonna be okay! Oh, my space.
Re-entry systems ready.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want.
What is going on?
I just wanna rock.
It's called the Scarab. It's some kind of world-destroying weapon. It's designed to protect its host.
This ain't what you want.
Sometimes it does what you want, and sometimes it doesn't.
I think I cut a bus in half.
The Scarab chose you, but it belongs to me.
That love you feel for your family makes you weak.
I just wanna rock. You gon' kill my vibe, stand on my money, don't know my side.
The universe has sent you a gift, and you have to figure out what you're gonna do with it.
That's my high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Whatever you can imagine, I can create.
Let's party.
Yeah!
Nice choice.
I just wanna rock.
Whoa, it's like Batman stuff. Batman's a fascist.
I just wanna rock.
And that's why it's rated PG-13. I'm glad I prepared everyone, because that's why it is. Now you can see why it's not for little ones. But anyway, I think some will enjoy it.
I hope so. Well, we've run out of time, but I know we've got some great shows coming up soon too. You talked about the movie Million Miles Away. We're going to be doing some interviews on that one as well.
Absolutely, that and others. So keep watching us, you guys, and keep going to our YouTube channel and hitting follow, and we appreciate you doing that.
Yes, absolutely. See you next week.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.